Is this the beginning of the end for Coachella? Because people have regretted buying tickets going over there. First off, the food prices over there are way too expensive. I mean, just look at this. This is ridiculous. Now, if you think these prices are fake, then take a look at this video of a girl saying that she spent $64 on 2 burritos and a drink.
Just spent $64 on this juice and 2 breakfast burritos.
Not only that, people had to wait in line for hours just to use uncomfortable showers in 90-degree weather. It's insane that you gotta get to a line extra early just to use a shower. Now, of course, another thing that people are complaining about are the actual prices of the tickets themselves. I mean, these things are quite expensive considering how the economy is these days. I mean, just VIP tickets alone just cost over $1,000. But these VIP tickets only just get you tents that give you shaded areas such as this. Meanwhile, the really good VIP tickets sell for over $11,000. Just ridiculous. But because of how bad the headliners are, no one's buying enough tickets. Now, usually when the tickets are announced, they usually sell off within seconds, but it took over a month just to sell the first weekend tickets. Now, if you look at the weekend 2 tickets, they are still available, which has never happened before in over a decade. Now, it's because of all these factors, people would rather just not buy the tickets and just watch it from live streaming at their house. But yeah, Coachella better fix this because this could be the beginning of the end for this festival.
All these people will complain about it, but still go the following year, so I don't really get it. I feel like Coachella is mostly for like influencers and famous people to go show off, but just like Coachella, prices are dumb high for pretty much any festival you go to nowadays. What is up, all you good people? Welcome back for a brand new video. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Creepy and bizarre TikToks. With all that being said, let's get right back into it.
There are more mummies found in America in this time frame by a gigantic margin than there are in Europe or Egypt. In fact, the Smithsonian was caught stealing mummies from Colorado and shipping them to Europe. And the deeper you go, the crazier the things they find. 17 miles northeast of Manchester is a prehistoric cavern in which wonderful discoveries have lately been made. They're on a farmer's land in Ohio. The ground shapes downward into this weird depression in his land. What they find when they remove the rocks covering the bottom of this depression is a tunnel into a underground tomb. It contains 9 chambers or rooms. They find a well in one of these chambers, and 45 feet from the top of that well, they found the entrance to a second cavern, which proved to be the family tomb of a race of gigantic men.
Yeah, it's insane. Even a single human statue, if you asked anybody on the street, has that ever been found in America, they'd probably say no.
Yeah, first time I've ever heard about mummies being found in America, but I truly don't doubt it. But hey, on a side note, the Smithsonian has a little bit of explaining to do.
MTV never stood for music television, it always stood for Masonic Temple Vision. Hence why you do not see any music on that channel anymore. Right here was MTV's headquarters in Canada at a Masonic temple. This temple's address is 888 Yonge Street, Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Now, MTV left this building in 2012, but the point still stands. Music television was never about music. It was always about the Masonic Temple vision programming the masses. As you see with their black and white checkered symbolism of the duality of light versus darkness. There's a reason why they call it television, for they are telling a vision, and there's also a reason why they call it programming. They are programming the individuals consuming their television. For the amount of immorality that MTV has promoted and pushed should make it clear to all of us what their agenda is.
I always wondered why the building had that on it, but yeah, it all makes perfect sense now. I mean, I haven't watched basic cable in years, but when I was watching it, MTV was just steady playing ridiculousness all day long.
Could you play something without the background music? I'll give you $20 if she could play something without the background music, without the piano.
No.
She can't?
Sorry.
Why not?
No understand what's the piano.
Can she play just the violin without the music?
No, this is a ring. It's normally no. Nine ring alone.
So it's a scam?
No scam.
Okay, well, I'll keep my $20. Bye.
If they need gas money that bad, I'm sure they can just pawn that equipment for a little bit. But yeah, man, I seen people doing this in the Target parking lot a few years back near my house. Hey, I mean, if you really got to hustle to get some money, I guess this isn't the worst way to do it.
You see, Warner Brothers Studios owned Prince, but they didn't own the artist formerly known as Prince. Listen closely. Prince changed his name to this. I can't pronounce the name because it literally has no pronunciation. It's just a symbol. So the media named him the artist formerly known as Prince. Now, Warner Brothers Studios had a problem because not only did they own all his music, but they owned his name. But that wasn't his name anymore. Every time Warner Brothers Studios would say something like, oh, Prince is going to be here, Prince is going to show up, everyone's like, what are you talking about? There's no such thing as Prince. You mean the artist formerly known as Prince? Record labels could not say that because they didn't own the new symbol name. Now, that made Warner Brothers Studios hot. So they like, Prince, you still owe us some music. Look at the contract. He did indeed owe them a few albums, but in Prince's petty nature, he starts releasing albums very fast, but very poorly. Everyone's like, oh, your music trash. Well, that's because he wasn't taking his time and just throwing them out so he can get out of his contract. They said, hey, look again. Yeah, it turns out Warner Brothers Studios had another clause in their contract. They still owned him for a set period of time, so he could not release any song without their say-so, which was like for another few years. Prince was like, okay. Warner Brothers like, what? He's like, yeah, all right, I'm fine with it. They said, no, you're not. You can't release music to your fans. He said, as long as you're not getting any money, I'm okay with anything. They said, whoa, you big petty. And petty he was, because as soon as his contract ended, he changed his name back to Prince. So he's not the artist formerly known as Prince. He's the artist formerly known as the artist formerly known as Prince. And now he's Prince again.
That man Prince was so legendary for making this move. But yeah, never sign a record contract, especially if you got real talent.
If you do ever see something like this out in public, do not, repeat, do not go up to it and approach it. This is a very real picture. There are many others like this. It was posted by Faith Phallus, and if you look to the background, you'll see something that looks odd on the side of the back road. If we zoom in just a little bit closer, you're gonna see it's a baby carriage, obviously, but there's something interesting about this. It is facing the opposite direction from the person who is driving down the road. Why would that be sinister? These are actually very common traps on back roads. People will usually try to target women by leaving out baby carriages. They will drape something over it, face it the other direction, so that people will stop their cars and get out. Almost the very second that they do, right to the woods over on the side here, that's where they're waiting to rob you.
This type of trap has been going on for years, especially out in South Africa. They'll use mannequins dressed up in regular clothes as well. I would just think it was an abandoned stroller myself and probably just keep on driving. But if I really thought there was something that looked suspicious, I would just call 911 and let the cops deal with it.
They came out with like a whole bunch of predictions for 2024 after April 8th. Yeah. The last one is fucked. That's why I want to talk about it. Because first prediction, May 27, the second American Civil War will happen. It's going to start in Texas. Another prediction is August 8th, massive versions of over 40 mysterious species will be discovered in a secret part of the Amazon rainforest. So these include like 6-foot butterflies, yeah, 3-foot long and 5-foot spiders. September 9th, first ever category 6 tornado will hit the east coast of the United States. Now this one's wild. Yeah, if this actually happens, I'm gonna be tripping. What the fuck did she say? On October 25th, a famous musician will come out and reveal that they've faked their death. Whoa. Everyone, and he is said to be a legend of his time. Oh, it's either Michael Jackson or Tupac. Yeah, it's either one of them, bro. I think it might be Tupac. I have money on Tupac.
As much as we would all love to see Michael Jackson and Tupac again, I don't think that's ever actually going to happen. Yeah, when these celebrities go through all of that effort to fake their death, I don't think they're just going to pop back up one day like, surprise.
Something's definitely going on with the Powerball. And now I have proof. Yesterday, I made a video questioning the irregularities of the recent Powerball drawing, how it got delayed for 3 hours before one person won it. Well, it's getting even more ridiculously odd now. New information sent via a follower. 11 p.m. Powerball drawing is scheduled as normal, but it was delayed 3 hours due to a 2-tiered verification process error in Minnesota. 3 hours. 4:59 a.m. Idaho time. A store clerk that sells lotto tickets checks the numbers in their lottery system. See here. Clearly states jackpot won in 7 states. 7:25, she checks again. Now it says jackpot won in 4 states: Arizona, Delaware, Florida, and Iowa. Fast forward to the morning news. All of a sudden, one winner is announced in Oregon. How is this possible? Go from 7 winners to 4 to 1. They even originally had the winning state.
I've never really played the Powerball, to be honest with you. Not too much of a gambler myself. I know one thing we all can agree on, though, is we hate being stuck behind that person scratching off lottery tickets in the gas station. But yeah, the game is all rigged. If you can't see it by now, like, come on, really?
I'm aging slower than 100% of 60, 50, 40, and 30-year-olds and 90% of 20-year-olds.
He's actually 46 years old, but says he now has the body of an 18-year-old and even claims he's found a secret to immortality. He spends a staggering $2 million a year in an attempt to reverse his biological age.
To put it simply, you don't want to die.
Yeah, that's right. The goal is don't die.
To a lot of people, that's just crazy, bonkers.
It is. We are currently in the midst of the biggest transition of our species, where we're going from death being inevitable to having some unknown horizon of how long and how well we can live. And I'm the first example of that in the world.
Beneath his relentless quest for eternal life, Brian gets up every morning at 5 o'clock to do high-intense workouts and claims he now has the bones of a 30-year-old.
So this is essentially all about living forever.
It's about not dying. And this is the first moment in the history of the human race where someone can say that and not be crazy. I think people will do well to go to bed on time, eat well, exercise, and prepare themselves for what could be the most magnificent existence in this part of the galaxy.
Yeah, the scientists he's paying are telling him that he's getting younger, but I don't really see it. He looks like a regular 40-year-old man, just a little bit shinier. It looks like Mr. Miyagi came by and gave this guy a wax on, wax off.
Morbid Facts, Part 229. Morgan Freeman has an oddly dark reason for always wearing his gold hoop earrings. He says it's because they're worth just enough to pay for a coffin if he happens to die in a strange place. The most toxic natural substance on Earth is botulinum toxin, aka Botox. A couple pounds is all you would need to kill every single human being on the planet. The African country of Ghana has 6 witch camps, housing about 1,000 women in total. The camps are for women accused of witchcraft to have a safe place to live without fear of being lynched by their neighbors. Most of the women simply suffer from mental illness, a poorly understood concept in Ghana. Sam White, a Civil War artifact collector from Virginia, was killed in 2008 when a 140-year-old highly explosive cannonball exploded in his driveway while he was restoring it. The blast was powerful enough to send chunks of shrapnel up to a quarter-mile away. White is now considered by some historians to be the last confirmed casualty of the American Civil War.
I want to know how many of these morbid facts are actually true, and I'm sure the value of Morgan Freeman's hoop earrings would skyrocket after his death.
If you think companies aren't gaslighting us and putting smaller and smaller things in without changing the price, I challenge you to watch this. You can see the purchase date here of April 2nd, 2023 for a 20-ounce Oreo mint flavored. But wait, they're out of stock. I wonder why. Oh, now it makes sense, because for the same price, it's now an 18.71 ounce, so they don't stock the 20 ounce anymore. Here's a great one. June 6th, 2023, 30 ounce carton. Goldfish, whole grain. What? Out of stock? But why? 27.3 ounces. Still $7.96. May 2023, 15.25 ounces for Betty Crocker. 15.25 for those who are bothered by this. Again, out of stock. There it is. 13.25. January 16th, 2024. This shows the old price. That is the one that's out of stock for the 15.25 ounces, $168. And this shows that it's the same price for the 13.25 ounces. Key lime pie, April 2023, 36 ounces. I think you know where this is going. Out of stock. 414, ready for pickup that day. $697, 30.4 ounces, good to go. For those keeping score, it was 36, now 30.4.
I first realized that shrinkflation is a real thing when my 5-pack of Degree deodorant started coming with 4 with a little like cardboard spacer in between them. Like, what? I hate it, you guys. These companies are making more and more money, like having record profits each year by us consumers getting less.
You guys are awesome! Oh my goodness! So I just recently came out with a brand new
Less than 2 hours after that video was filmed, the girl on stage in that video would be dead. Her name was Christina Grimmie. She was a famous singer here in America, and she was murdered in 2016. So Christina had been making music and performing all of her life, but her real rise to fame started when she was on the show The Voice. After Christina was on The Voice, the world kind of opened up for her. She made her major label debut, she started going on tours all across the world, and she was a rising star. Sadly though, she attracted the attention of a very disturbed individual who can actually be seen here in footage from her final show, creepily watching Christina perform from the crowd, knowing what he was about to do. That man was 27-year-old Kevin James Loibl. So Christina's performance that evening ended at about 10 p.m. And afterwards, she moved over to a little booth to sign autographs for people who had come to the show. At around 10:24 p.m., Kevin approached Christina. Christina, thinking he was just like every other fan there, opened her arms up to give him a big hug. But that's when Kevin retrieved a Glock pistol from his person and shot her 3 times at point-blank range. After the shots rang out, Christina's brother tackled Kevin to the ground. Yes, sadly, Christina's brother was there working the booth with her that evening. But after a fight, Kevin managed to get himself free. He retrieved his Glock and he took his own life right next to Christina's body. Sadly, Christina had been shot twice in the chest and once in the head. And by 10:59 p.m., not even a full hour after she finished her performance, Christina Grimmie was pronounced dead. Afterwards, Kevin's family left this note for the media. This was all they had to say after the tragedy. But fans even to this day remember Christina as an amazing singer and talk about the potential that she had if she hadn't been taken from this world so quickly.
Man, that is just so sad. It amazes me that a weapon was even allowed into the venue. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but don't they pat you down before letting you go in to see a concert?
What do you know about citric acid? Oh, this is an interesting one. That's a GMO black mold created by Monsanto, and it's put into all these different products to cause allergic reactions. It actually inflames the skin and the gut lining. So citric acid is very toxic, and they put this in all kinds of stuff. According to Google, it'll corrode and burn your teeth, which is interesting because they put it in toothpaste. So why would you put citric acid in toothpaste if it corrodes the teeth? Well, because there's big business with Monsanto and trying to put these chemicals into the food supply and into everyday use products, even skincare products. That's why I talk about making your own skincare products, because a lot of skincare products also have citric acid in them, and that citric acid burns the skin, and then the person needs more product. So if you see the label citric acid or you see the ingredient citric acid, you want to avoid that. And like I said, make your own. Make your own toothpaste, make your own soaps. You know, you can make your own little, if you want to put some essential oils for some beautiful natural scents on yourself, but make your own. Stick to natural things.
Make sure to read the label for all your self-care products. As long as it doesn't have any of those toxic chemicals in it, then you should be good. But yeah, my best advice would be the same thing this guy is saying. Just make your own deodorant, you know, your own soap.
All right, y'all. I think I've gotten to the point where nothing I see on social media surprises me anymore. I was scrolling on Facebook when I seen this. Build-A-Baphomet. Y'all, when I say Build-A-Bear used to literally be my go-to growing up, I used to love that place. I am highly disappointed at what my eyes have seen. They even put a huge Baphomet in the store. I had never thought I'd see the day where Build-A-Bear, out of all places, turned into complete and utter darkness. And this is how they have their employees dressed. Peep the pentagrams and all of the symbolisms on the uniforms. They even got the employees wearing Baphomet horns. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, this would be the day that I quit. I pray that no Christians currently work in Build-A-Bear. And if there are any believers that work in Build-A-Bear, I pray that y'all not putting yourself in predicament to compromise your faith. Because we are truly in the last days. Isaiah 5:20 says, "Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter." As we all know, in the last days, good will be made evil and evil will be made good. And this is a prime example of just that. Y'all, please stay away from Build-A-Bear in Jesus' name.
Yeah, this just goes to prove how easy it is for some people to fall for AI. Yeah, because these are clearly AI generated images. It even says it like right there in the caption. If she would have just read that, does she really think that Build-A-Bear would participate in some stuff like this?
Be to God. I got 2 kids, and this definitely hits home. Pay attention to me. This is no joke. There's a reason why when the government comes out and says, let's stop using concrete for our children's playgrounds and let's use rubber tire mulch. The BPA that leaches out of this at a high heat is toxicities. Now, what you guys don't get is that tires are recycled at a high amount, and they use it for this. California is thinking about becoming the first U.S. state to say no to artificial turf in children's play areas. People are worried about the chemicals in fake grass, especially the bits made from rubber. The NFL permanently banned due to significant safety concerns. Gavin Newsom recently signed legislation that permits local governments, including cities and countries, to ban synthetic grass in neighborhoods due to potential health concerns. There's no evidence. Watch this. Tire rubber contains more than 400 chemicals and compounds. Many of them are carcinogenic. Next.
Not only is it filled with those toxic chemicals, but it also prevents you from grounding. But in the middle of summertime, when it's really hot out, them newly built parks definitely do have a weird smell.
This is the home that was previously owned by Britney Spears. On an episode of the podcast called We Need to Talk About Britney, Britney's former makeup artist joined the conversation. She said that while Britney was living in this house, she had some type of spiritual transformation and invited someone over who claimed to be a spiritual healer. But after this supposed healer left, something didn't feel right to her. Britney told her former makeup artist that she thought the healer might have opened some type of portal, and she claimed that there were evil spirits inside of her house trying to harm her by doing things like pushing her down the stairs. The situation must have scared Britney pretty badly because she left the home immediately and never returned. She then sold the house and everything inside of it to Britney Murphy. And as many of you might already know, Britney Murphy died in that house under suspicious circumstances. Her husband Simon died 5 months after her in the same room. After Britney's death, Simon gave an interview stating that his wife tried to avoid the house at all costs. He said he felt that maybe the property was unlucky, and he planned to move his wife and her mother to New York City where they intended to start a family. Then, after Simon's death, his mother was quoted saying, "All I know is that before Simon's death, he was having hallucinations that things were crawling out of his skin." Although the common speculation was that the couple died from mold intoxication, the coroner's office debunked that theory in 2010. Take a listen.
She swears to God that they're he opened some spirit portal or something, and these bad spirits had come in, and it was like a male and a female, and they were trying to push her down the stairs or something crazy. It was so bad that she left. She went to the Casa del Mar Hotel to stay there and never went back to that house again. She put her house on the market, and guess who bought that house?
Who?
And died in it. Britney Murphy.
Now, I have heard that black mold will bring about paranormal activity. Not sure if that's true or not, but with Britney Murphy's death being so long ago, it blows my mind that I'm just now hearing about this. Alright, and that is going to be a wrap for this video. As always, really hope you guys enjoyed this one. And if you did, don't forget to show your boys some support and just hit that like button. Alright, and one last thing, but don't forget to let me know all your thoughts about this one down there in that comment section.